This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Nate, what's going on today at Scorebook Live?
Oh, we're churning out copy, Phil. We've got our Athlete of the Week stuff going today, so got a lot of stuff. Hey, I wanted to tell you before we got into it, I appreciate you letting me know on the broadcast the other night that was an ambulance at your stadium and not behind me, because with my new car and my surround sound, I thought I needed to pull over. So I'm glad that you were able to tell the listeners that was at the stadium. I listen to you a lot because I'm driving these kids all over the place. So, but I thought you'd get a kick out of that. I heard that ambulance. I was getting ready to pull over, and then you said, no, there's an ambulance here at the stadium.
I hadn't even thought about that would be a good reason to tell people why they hear sirens. That it has nothing to do with what I'm actually seeing. It's what they might be thinking is going on around them.
I meant to text you that, but yeah, so we are on the go all the time, going to practice. We listen to you, and you and Bubba do a great job. You know that I love the broadcast, but that was funny because my son was in the car too. He's like, you're looking around, and then you said, no, the ambulance is here. So thank you for letting us know that, and all the great coverage.
I know one of the things that you've written about at Scorebook Live is a question that was asked to John Calipari at his press conference last week, and it also goes a little deeper also to the idea of not just basketball but all the sports and how they recruit in-state talent. Yeah. And I guess the question is, Cal said he'll recruit in-state talent if they can play here. Now, I think that might be just a very simple way to look at it. I can't imagine that you go to a state, you go to a place like Arkansas or really any other school, and you're not at least looking at the in-state players. I guess part of the question is, how hard are you recruiting them?
Well, exactly. Well, and if you go to that story, you can go to that scorebooklive.com/Arkansas. And all that stuff on here that we're going to talk about, I'm glad you had me on, because there's a lot of things that I think that people will like to see that we're going to talk about. So go to this story and read it, because what I did was a deep dive on the recruits that currently have offers, that had offers from Musselman, and then some of the former players. So when you go that have been at Arkansas that have been good, so you go back. Calipari only offered two guys played for him, rather, Monk and Archie Goodwin, and then Nick Smith was heavily recruited by him, probably going to get an offer, but then he canceled a visit. I don't know if he formally got an offer, but he was going to get one. But he'd had a wrist injury. They wanted to see him in person. Then he canceled the visit. So that's three guys. And then you look at the guys that have been at Arkansas that have gone to the NBA, Bobby Portis. Now, I think he was so firmly committed to Arkansas that maybe not a lot of people offered him. I saw that Kansas did, some schools like that. Certainly probably fit the bill for Kentucky, being a McDonald's All-American like Nick Smith. But Daniel Gafford, Isaiah Joe, those guys did not have offers, from Kentucky, and Jalen Williams. So those are really good players that are playing in the NBA now. Moody, too, also was in from North Little Rock, that went off to the academy to play for a couple years. He did not have an offer from Kentucky. So what I was trying to illustrate there is that he has really high standards. I mean, like super high standards. And Arkansas has produced in the past 15 years some really good basketball players, but he hasn't recruited them. So is he going to lower his standards to recruit Arkansas guys? Is that, he didn't really do that to recruit Kentucky guys. Reed Shepherd, he mentioned a couple players, but that's like 2 or 3 out of hundreds, So he did offer a few, but that's what I think from our point of view, covering high school athletics, is going to be interesting, because Eric Musselman recruited Arkansas kids. Pinion, Darian Ford, several guys, Devo Davis, those guys were all recruited, and people were excited about it, and they were top 100, top 50 guys, but they probably would not have been recruited. They did not get recruited by Kentucky. So that's the reason I brought that up, and then I did that kind of dive in there to show, the rankings of the kids at that time, the rankings of the kids now. I mean, J.J. Andrews, a sophomore, is ranked 18th, and I think that's a slippery slope when you start talking about stars and rankings and stuff, because I'm not sure how all accurate some of those things are. But if you're going just by the numbers, it's usually top 10 kids that he's going after, maybe top 20. So J.J. Andrews is one of the only ones right now going to his junior year that would kind of fit that mold according to the cumulative rankings of 24/7 Sports.
How important is it, I guess, for a guy like Calipari? I was just you just kind of made me think of something. That does he try to keep it kind of under wraps? Because if you hear Calipari offers somebody and you're anywhere, wouldn't you just automatically try to make contact with that kid as well?
I suppose, and that from some of the people I know in Kentucky, I mean, he's really particular how he does that. Like apparently he won't offer kids until he's seen him in person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Nick Smith thing was a deal, because they wanted him, but I don't think he got an offer, and then he canceled his visit there, and they didn't get to see him at the Peach Jam and stuff because he was hurt. So yeah, I think he's very particular how he does things, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, and this is just I'm in a piece that points out some of the statistics and the rankings stuff. I am by no means saying that he has to recruit Arkansas guys to win, or that he should, or anything like that. But I do think the reason I think it's an interesting thing to discuss, because Arkansas basketball players, high school basketball, has been very good, about the highest level it's been in decades. And you've seen guys that are playing in the NBA. You've seen that where it's come to fruition, where they've come through the entire high school and college process and then playing professional basketball, but they still weren't good enough to, in his eyes, to play there. So, we still are producing some really good players here. Anar Boateng going to Missouri. He was the best player this year. I didn't mention him in the article, but he was a 4-star. Did not get offered by them. Arkansas wanted him really bad. I mean, they really wanted him. Musselman did. So just pointing that out. It kind of pointing out, how good of a program he has and had, that he didn't have to recruit 4-star guys. Like, he could just, get 5-star guys. And that's the level he was at. And then, like I mentioned in the article, and where I think he can be at Arkansas too, and as I mentioned in the article, there was I think 7 or 8 times I mentioned in there he had the number 1 class, and every time he was there, he's a top 5 class. So just illustrating the fact that he has discriminate taste. He's taking guys that are top 10, one and done, McDonald's All-American guys. That's who he's taken. And we've had a couple McDonald's All-Americans. We had Khalil Ware and Nick Smith, who I mentioned at North Little Rock, and we had Bobby Portis. But not too many after that. But we've had a lot of high-level players, though, guys that are top 50, top 100, Division I NBA guys. So I just thought that was interesting in light of him coming. I think he's going to do a great job, and I think he'll maybe do things a little bit different than he did at Kentucky. He hit the portal a little bit more. But people have asked me, do you think he can win a championship Final Four? Absolutely. And I think he's going to have a more of a fire in his belly now, because people have doubted him and they're kind of ripping him for coming to Arkansas. I think that's the motivation he needed to end his career on a high note. Maybe got a little complacent, missed some assistance that he had. Now he tweaks a few things, does some different things, X's and O's wise, brings a couple different, older kids in, and they run. They're going. I mean, but Arkansas is going to have a ton of talent, and I think there will be a couple Arkansas players that do make the roster over the next couple years. But just thought it was interesting to check that out and to compare and contrast some of our players against some of the, the standard that he's had at Kentucky.
Tell me about, I know you guys wrote about Kell Buzby, who plays at Pulaski Academy. He's a pitcher. Was he the kid that stopped playing football in order to focus on baseball and pitching? And I don't remember what his arm injury was, but he came back from an injury, and he's pitching pretty well right now. And hopefully this is somebody that makes it to campus. But I would imagine if he's coming off an injury that, even if he is draftable for scouts in this upcoming draft, that they might be a little wary, and he may end up getting to school.
He did not mention the MLB once. He talked about being on campus in June or July with some of the other pitchers taking summer school. So I don't think that's on his radar at all. a guy who, as you mentioned, a terrific quarterback, won a championship there, and maybe one of the reasons why PA didn't get back last year, they missed him. But he had that UCL injury last baseball season at the beginning, and he was trying to decide if he wanted to play football during that baseball season as they would get ready for spring football, and then that injury occurred. That basically tabled any kind of football decision that he had. It made it easy. He wasn't going to play football. He wasn't going to be able to. So, but he's rehabbed 53 weeks, and last Tuesday pitched 40 pitches against Mills and hit 92 miles an hour, which is 1 or 2 off of his best last year. So he is in good shape, and it just shows you the modern marvels of medicine, how it is so high tech and so much better probably in the 70s and 80s when Tommy John first had that surgery. You know, they call it the Tommy John surgery because of the major league pitcher, played for the Yankees and many other teams. But guys can come back from it quicker, and he'll be on a 60-pitch count tomorrow. He's hoping by the end of the month when they start the regional tournament that he'll be throwing, 80 pitches or more, trying to win some games in the playoffs. But they're going to be careful with him. They obviously don't want to hurt that again. So he's doing this all under the doctor's care. The doctor told him the date that he wanted to come back. He'd been pitching to live batting practice to teammates to get ready, and he did a great job. He was throwing a lot of fastballs, mixed in his curve and slider in there a few times, but he said he was mostly going with the fastball, and he said it was really moving for him and doing well. So good news for Bruin fans and good news for Razorback fans. I think this is a guy, he's a good character guy, comes from a great school. The football program with Anthony Lucas, that's obviously rubbed off on him too, being in that great football program. So I think the Hogs are getting a good pitcher and a good kid, and looks like he's going to be fully healthy by next year if Dave Van Horn needs him to pitch as a freshman.
Hey, Nate, and just we're kind of up against the break, so in just a couple minutes,
okay,
if you can, I know there's a new target for Kane Archer that's transferring into Greenwood from a high school in Omaha, Nebraska, and he's already got an offer from Nebraska, so maybe this is somebody that Coach Pittman may end up looking at too.
Absolutely. I bet he'll be at the Arkansas camp this year. I don't have much doubt about that. Khalil Cham Davis, 5'10", 175, a little slot receiver with a lot of speed, already attracted the attention of Matt Rule in Nebraska. I think he's going to get more offers. And now he goes to a good football program to a great one with a quarterback who is one of the tops in the country. So you've also got 2 other receivers opposite of you who went for over 700 yards, both of them. Grant Carnes went for 900, and Isaiah Arrington, 750. So that's going to make it where it's going to be almost impossible to cover them. They still need to replace a running back, but Archer's going to do more running, I think, this year too. So really good situation for all parties involved. I think he flourishes at Greenwood, gets several more Division I offers, and that's why I think he went there. Is that he knows Archer from the youth football, the travel stuff, and it's just one more feather in their cap. It's going to make them, more of a favorite. I think most everybody that does high school football predictions is going to have them to win the championship again in 6A, and this only solidifies that, I think.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.